Networking, talking to people, building relationships. No, I don't feel like talking to anybody today. Come on, stay with me. This is going to be fun. Networking is incredibly important. You know it. I know it. I mean, think about how you got to where you are today. Your first job you ever had. Did you know somebody that helped you get that job? Or the job that you're in right now? 75 to 80% of the people that get jobs got a job because they knew somebody. When it comes to the executive level jobs, C-suite jobs, 90% of people that are hired in a C-suite job get hired because they knew somebody that helped them get there. Networking is important. All right, we're going to talk a little bit today about how to network when you don't feel like networking. Part of your job is to talk to people all day long. Your members, your donors, your staff, your board of directors, everybody. You are talking to people and you're making them feel good. But you have got to go to new events all the time and you have got to network. You've got to go to your membership events and network with your members and be sincere and be genuine. And you don't feel like it. We're going to get into that a little bit today too. Branding yourself is important. How do people perceive you? What do they think about when they think of you? When people think of me, they think of somebody that talks a lot and is going to introduce them to somebody, and watch out, she's going to ask you for money when she calls because she's raising money for something. So how are you perceived? Think about that for a minute. What do you want to be perceived as? What is your online reputation? That is incredibly important. Facebook, LinkedIn, and you know Facebook, you keep your Facebook page private because it's personal to you, or maybe it's public. Even if it is private, people are going to find pictures that are tagged of you. You want to make sure that your social media reputation is stellar. Also online, are you visible? Are you connected to the people that you want to be connected to? It's incredibly important to spend some time on social media platforms like LinkedIn, making sure that you are connected with potential members, potential sponsors, potential donors, and that you're sharing things that are helping you to boost your visibility online. So we have all had to go to events that we weren't going to know a lot of people there, right? I was invited to a magazine launch recently by a sponsor, so I had to go. You know, this is somebody that has written a check for an organization, and I wasn't going to know anybody there. It was also on a Friday evening, and I was tired. So you're going into this event and you've had a long week and you want to make a good impression because you never know, no matter what event you're attending, you never know if you're going to meet somebody there that is going to be significantly impactful for your life. So you always want to be 100%. So you walk in and this magazine launch, don't know anybody, I'm tired. I'm going to give you a little piece of corny advice, but I promise you it works. If you walk into an event and you change your mindset like this is your event, and you're like, what? That doesn't even make sense. It does. So you've hosted a holiday party at your house before, right? Where you've had maybe 10 people, 15 people or more, and people have come to your house for your party. And somebody brought somebody that you didn't know. They brought a date that you didn't know. How hard was it for you to introduce yourself to that person? Not hard at all, right? Because you invited them into your home for your party. And you said, hi, my name is Dot Miller. How are you? And they said hello. And you made some small talk and you made a connection. You made a meaningful connection. So I would challenge you, the next time you have to go to an event where you're not going to know anybody, or maybe it's even an event where you're tired and you know a lot of people in the room, change that mindset to be, this is my party, I'm throwing it, I'm hosting it, and I'm super excited to know every single person in this room tonight. So just a little fun advice, but it works. I promise you it works. Give it a try. Oftentimes you have to be at a luncheon. Maybe it's a membership lunch or you attend a professional development luncheon where you're sitting at a table with 6 or 8 or 9 other people, right? And a lot of people don't know each other and they're really there to hear the speaker, they're there to see the program. But you have that awkward moment when you first all sit down where you're doing hello, 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 introducing because it's what you're required to do is introduce yourself. But then there's this awkward silence. And maybe it's pass the rolls, pass the pepper, or what kind of dressing is this for my salad? I would challenge you to be the table captain. Make yourself self-elected table captain. And start asking questions like, this is your event, again, with the event. You've invited these people to sit at your table for this event and start to get to know each other, okay? And start to talk a little bit about what you do, what do they do, but then make a meaningful connection, right? You can exchange what you do with people all day long, but maybe, are you from this state? Are you from this city? What do you like to do? Or, talk a little bit about yourself and be personable so that you can make a meaningful connection. And sometimes it's hard to really be confident in a situation like that, especially in an intimate environment where 6 people are all looking at you because now you've started a conversation. But you can fake confidence by making eye contact and smiling. That's all it takes. Make eye contact, smile, and ask an open-ended question. You can Google or look on our website here for open-ended questions, examples of it. So have some in your repertoire. You don't want to pull up your phone and Google it while you're sitting there at lunch. Say, okay, top 5 open-ended questions. Know them ahead of time, have them in your bag, and really be able to pull them out. So if you smile at somebody, you make eye contact, and you ask them an open-ended question, it's going to exude confidence, even if you're really shaking and your knees are knocking underneath the table. When you attend an event, you want to make sure to bring business cards with you. How many times have you stopped at an event after work that you needed to be at and you had no business cards, and you met somebody and you're handwriting your phone number and email address on a napkin? Don't be that guy. Don't write your phone number on that person's business card and give it back to them because you forgot yours. Have an extra stash in your wallet, in your car, whatever, but make sure that you do have business cards when you are going to an event because you never know who you're going to meet. I have business cards in my carry-on on every airplane, anywhere I go, because you never know if the person that you are sitting next to is going to be somebody that you should be meeting. And focus on quality of connections instead of quantity. That's one thing when you walk into an event and you're at a mixer and you've got 150 people that could be potential clients, sponsors, members, whatever it is. You don't want to be that person that meets every single person in the room and hands a business card. Hi, I'm Dot Miller. I own the solution. Hi, I'm Dot Miller. I own the solution. Hi, I'm Dot Miller. No, you want the quality connection to be made. So make a personal connection as you're meeting people. Find something that you have in common. You want to know your elevator pitch. I know that you know your elevator pitch for your organization, but also your elevator pitch for what you do. So as you go into an event, as you're meeting people, talk about who you are and what you do and what your organization does. And really know and understand and practice and write down that elevator pitch before you go. So that when you are meeting somebody, and that helps you with your confidence level too. When you're going to say something to somebody and you have that little pitch, that 30-second pitch that you give, if you know that in your heart, it's easier for you to say and smile and make eye contact and be confident about what it is you're saying. So practice it over and over and make sure that it makes sense to the person you're talking to. When I tell my family that I own an association management company, they're like, what? What is that? Because people that aren't familiar with chambers of commerce or associations, they don't know what a chamber of commerce does. They don't know what an association does. So when I say I manage trade associations and chambers of commerce, they're like, cool. So make sure that your pitch is explainable to a layman that doesn't understand what it is that you're talking about. When you're at an event, people will often talk about things that are going on in the news. So I would really encourage you to make sure that you are staying up to date with the headlines. Maybe you have your local news channel or New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, whatever it is you watch, wherever it is you get your news, but have an app on your phone or read your emails and get those highlights and make sure that you really understand what's going on in the news, because it will come up and you don't want to be that person that didn't hear about it. So where do you build your network? Where do you find those connections and build meaningful relationships? There are several opportunities. If you don't have professional events to go to, you can serve on committees for organization. Join your trade association, join your chamber of commerce. Serve on boards. If you're an association exec or a chamber exec or a nonprofit exec, serve on boards of directors. Everybody in your community is going to want you to serve on a board. That's a great way to meet new people. You can also volunteer at nonprofit organizations. That's another great way to meet people. Leverage your online profile. Send LinkedIn invitations and ask for recommendations on LinkedIn. If you don't know somebody, you want to send them a little message when you link with them and give them an opportunity to view your website. When you're asking for recommendations from people that you've done business with, that's a great way to build your online profile, and it's a great way to interact with people that you haven't talked to in a while. Let's talk about how to meet somebody in a large group and meet them well. So you don't want to be the person in the large group that's looking for a specific individual to seek out. So you're walking around this big function looking for one person in particular. People that you might want to meet are not going to come up and talk with you if that's the case. So you want to just start with somebody that's close to you and go and shake their hand and ask them. Here's a great open-ended question that I always use. Tell me a little bit about yourself. That's a great open-ended question, and it allows them to give you whatever information they're most comfortable giving you, and maybe you can make a connection that way. If there's somebody in particular that you do want to meet, I would recommend highly that when you're looking for that person, don't let it be don't let it be when you're talking to somebody else. Here's exactly what that looks like. So here I am talking to you. You're telling me about yourself, and I'm looking for that person over on the other side of the room that I really want to talk to, and I'm not listening to you at all. Now, doesn't that feel weird if you're the person talking to me? That I'm not even looking at you. I'm looking everywhere else but in your face. It's awkward. So when you are talking to somebody, make sure that you're making eye contact and that you're listening to them. And when that conversation is done, then you move on to maybe find that next person that you're looking for. So just be careful about that. Also, the person that you might want to talk to doesn't absolutely have to be the person that has a crowd around them, right? The person that has a crowd around them might be really funny and, has captured a lot of people's attention, but it might be the person in the corner that's pretending to email on their phone that might be the connection for you. And do you know what that person is doing that's on the phone there? They're avoiding networking because they're scared of it and it's intimidating. So go help them out. Be that nice person that says, hey, how's it going? Tell me a little about yourself. I'm Dot Miller with Solution. Tell me a little bit about yourself. So that if you are intimidated going into a large group to talk to somebody, know that most of the people in that room are just as nervous as you are. And they don't know you either. Now, sometimes you've gotten yourself into a conversation where you're up against the wall and that person is talking and is not stopping. And they're talking about their cats and all day and your cat's names and this cat and that cat and you're like, and you're smiling and you're making eye contact and you're listening about cats and you're hearing about these cats, but you got to get out of the conversation, right? You've got to find a way to get away from this person without offending, because you don't know. Again, this cat lady might be a strong connection for you to bring you your next sponsor or client or member, but you've got to get away from her, right? You've got to move on with your life at this point. And here's a little way to do it without offending. Okay, so you're talking to cat lady, cat, and out of the corner of your eye, you see somebody coming that you happen to know. Okay, so here comes the person, cat. Here comes the person, Chris. Hey, how are you doing? Have you met Jill? Don't say cat lady. Have you met Jill? And the minute that they go to shake hands and they make eye contact with each other and shake hands, hi Chris, my name's Jill. Hi Jill, my name's Chris. The minute you just say, touch one of them on the shoulder, excuse me, and leave. Exit stage right. So here's that again. See Chris coming out of the corner of your eye. Here's Jill talking about cats. Hey Chris, have you met Jill? They shake hands, they look at each other. The minute they're looking at each other, and don't wait too long, we'll talk about that in a second. The minute they look at each other, excuse me, and you leave. Don't say I'm headed to the ladies' room. Don't say I'm going to go get something to eat. Don't say I'm going to go get a glass of wine, because then they're going to expect you to come back. Just say, excuse me, and go. First of all, you're going to owe Chris lunch because of the cat lady. But here's what happens if you wait too long. Here comes cat lady talking. Here comes your buddy Chris. Hey, Chris, have you met Jill? And they look at each other and they shake hands and they meet. And you've stayed too long at this point because you're making sure that they've made an introduction, or you forgot all about what you're supposed to be doing, which is leaving. And they look at each other and they meet. Hi, Jill, I'm Chris. Hi, Chris, I'm Jill. And then they look at you. Now, you're hosed. Completely. Because now not only are you stuck with cat lady because you waited too long, but they're both looking at you like, why'd you make this introduction, Dot? So, make sure the timing is perfect. Next, you're in this large group and you want to meet this person in a group over here, but they are talking with a group of 3 other people in a circle. And you've had some conversations and you've had some appetizers, and now it's time for you to leave, but you really do. It's necessary for you to meet this person in the circle. How do you get into a closed circle of like 5 people when there's no space? You can't just grab shoulders and push them out of the way, right? You want to gently touch somebody on the shoulder. If you are going up to somebody and you gently touch them on the shoulder, what do? If somebody touched me on the shoulder, I'm going to turn around, right? And if I turn around, the person next to me is also going to turn around and they're going to look. So that's how to open up a circle. And you say something like, hey, how are you guys doing? And super easy. It works every single time. Walk up to an enclosed circle, touch somebody on the shoulder. Hey, how's it going? They turn to look, the person next to me turns to look, and all of a sudden, space for you. It's that easy. It's important to make connections at every single level of every organization. If you work for a large organization in a big building, maybe you're in an office share and on a large corporate building, make sure that you know everybody, Make sure that you know the people that clean the building, the IT guy, the people that work in the kitchen or the cafe. Make sure that you know everybody at venues that you use. If you are throwing a large trade show, make sure that it's not only a salesperson that you know, every single person from the kitchen, janitorial staff, IT, you name it, you want to know it. Because when you send a text to that person, they're going to answer it and they're going to care about you. I'll tell you, I used to host an event, a regular monthly event at the Arvada Center, Arvada, Colorado. I knew everybody that worked there. Now, I drink Diet Pepsi in the morning. Every event always has coffee and juice, right? I like my Diet Pepsi. By the end of the first year, the kitchen staff would meet me in the morning as I arrived with my Diet Pepsi. They knew me. I cared about them. I knew about their families. I knew about their children. I knew about their vacation. I genuinely cared about them. And they knew that. And so they really went above and beyond for me. So I would encourage you to get to know everybody in and around your coworkers, your organization, and the people that can really help you, because the more you care about them and you show them the love, they're going to care about you and they're going to take care of you when you need it most. Finally, let's talk about what to do after you've met somebody, after you've made that connection. So maybe you've been to a large event where you have collected 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 business cards, and each time you talk to somebody, you want to make a little bit of a note on how you connected, right? What you talked about. So let's say I met Chris Woodley, Mountain Media, and we talked about doing a webinar, right? I'm going to write webinar on the card, okay? And then when I follow up with Chris later on, I'm going to connect with him on LinkedIn, or I'm going to send him a little handwritten thank you card. It was great to meet you at the event. Let's chat about that webinar, and maybe we can get something scheduled before the end of the year, okay? Make that connection in your thank you note or in your LinkedIn message, however it is you're going to follow up. Make sure that you make that connection so that they remember you, because I'm sure that Chris met 14 people, and you want to make sure that he remembers the actual connection with you, okay? Also, be a connection for the people that you've met. So maybe when you were talking with somebody that you met at an event, they said that it would be really important for them to get to know a city council member, and you happen to know a city council member. Make that email connection almost immediately after the event. You head back to your office and you say, hi, Mike. It was great to meet you at the such and such event. I know that you wanted to meet with, or you wanted an introduction to a council member. So I'm gonna do an email introduction for you in the next email. So do the follow-up personally, one-on-one with the email or the LinkedIn, and then do what it is you promised to do and make that connection. If you are a connector for somebody, and if you help somebody to get a connection, or maybe you wanted to connect somebody with a business that, a bakery that was going to make a cake, whatever the connection is, make sure that you actually do the follow-up that you said you were going to do. So when you are following up with somebody, if it's possible, if you're in the same local area, ask them for coffee via email or via the LinkedIn connection. Thank them for the meeting, let them know you enjoyed making that connection, and then follow up with however it is you want to follow up. If you do want an in-person meeting, that's a great place to ask for it. If you told them you would share a resource or a link to an article, a book, or you'd make a connection, make sure that you do that in that email or that LinkedIn message. And finally, and most importantly, connect with me. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Batchelder Miller. You can connect with me on Facebook as well, Batchelder Miller. We look forward to connecting.
The Solution is an association management company that maximizes your value and potential while stimulating growth and engagement for your organization. We are skilled facilitators in strategic planning and board orientations. We are masterful at membership engagement, leadership development, and event planning. If you are looking for education, facilitation, or guidance for your organization, we are the solution.